We're in Fairfield, Connecticut at the Gaelic American Club in the library. I'm going to interview Mary Ganely.
Right.
And
The
also
whole lot of her.
is myself, Mary Brady, as the interviewer. We have Peg O'Leary record keeper, and it's filmed by Kevin Collins. And today's date is August 15th, 2006.
Aren't you supposed to have a... Oh, you do?
No, I can hear her through your mic.
Oh, you can. Oh, all right.
That's good. Okay. I'll just get you to say your name, and I have to do this first. Sorry, I have to do this first. Questions. Okay. Okay. So, what is your name?
Mary. Mary Ganely. It was Mary Hughes Ganely.
Mary Hughes. Did you have a middle name?
I did.
What was
It was Anne.
Mary Ann Ganley. Hughes Ganley.
Right.
And what part of Ireland are you from? Mary?
Galway.
Oh, and you come from the country or town?
The country, from our farm.
So you came from a farm?
Right.
And do you have a big family?
There were 11 of us.
Oh, wow. So what was it, brothers and sisters? Or
Right. There was 6 brothers and 5 sisters.
Wow. And are they all in Ireland?
No, I've got 3 in England. 2 brothers and 1 sister in England. And then one sister died 2 weeks before I left Ireland in 1948.
Oh, wow.
And then my brother died here 2 years ago. My brother Harry, yes. And my youngest sister was born after I come on over from Ireland.
Oh my God! So you
And
were
I-
gone before.
I was. So that when I went back on my first trip when I was 21, she wouldn't come near me. She didn't know me, so. Anyway, yes. So now she's married and she's got 3 sons living here and 2 in Ireland. That's Alan's mother.
There's 21 years between you and her.
I guess so.
Wow, it's amazing. So when you were born, were you born at home or in the hospital?
At home.
Was all your family?
All born at home in the house, on the farm.
Wow. And was a midwife came?
I don't know if she was a midwife, but she always came in when there was a baby due.
Yeah.
And I guess the morning that I was born, my mother was going to name me Bridie. And this one pumped her feet on the cement ground and she says, and take her away from the Blessed Mother May 1st. Her name is going to be Mary. So
I was born on May
that's
Day.
May Day, right. So that's how I got the name Mary.
Oh, wow.
So then they used to call me Maura, Maureen, Mary, Mamie, everything that started with an M.
I think that sounds very much like me, Mary.
There you are. There you are.
You don't have to answer this question if you don't want to.
Right.
I'm going to ask what's your date of birth.
May 1st, 1931.
Oh, wow. So, your parents were both alive when you came here?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I promised them I'd be back when I was 21. And I was.
you did.
I did.
How many years were you here before you went?
I guess, well, I came in 1948. And I went back in 1951.
3 years?
Yes. 3 years.
Now, did you find a big change in those 3 years?
Well, I did because it was an addition to the family to start with. And, of course, I missed my sister that had died the week before I left Ireland. And she was next after me.
Oh, wow.
So I found a lot of changes in that 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was working here at the time. And the lady I was taking care of said that she would pay me for the 3 weeks I was in Ireland, but she wouldn't give it to me until I make sure that I came back.
And how did she do that?
Then-
That she wouldn't pay you till you came back?
And to make sure I came back, that's the only way I'd get the pay for the 3 weeks that I was in Ireland.
Oh, wow. So where did you work first when you came over here?
When I came over here first, I came to an uncle. And one day he was out of the house because every time I needed to write to my mother or to write to a friend, I had to ask him for the money for a stamp. I thought, I can't take this, having to ask for money to go to the movies or the pictures, as we said in Ireland. So anyway, he was out of the house one day and I looked up the paper and I got a job. And when he came in the evening, I says, I'm going to work. And he says, you're not going to work. He says, you came over here to go to school. And I says, no, I'm going to work. So I went to a job in Bridgeport taking care of 3 kids. And I was there for nearly a year, maybe 2 weeks short of a year. And my uncle said to me, we're going to Boston to meet your aunts and uncles that you haven't seen yet. And we're going to a wedding. So tell Mrs. Breyer that you're going to be gone for 4 or 5 days. So I told her, and she says, you don't deserve a vacation yet, you're not here a year. So then I told him, I said, I can't go. He says, tell her you're going because you're not going to work for her anymore, that you're leaving the job. So we went, but 2 days before I left, she says, I will give you double your pay if you come back.
Wow.
So I said, I don't think I can. When she says, if double is not enough, I'll give you triple.
And did you go back?
He wouldn't let me back.
Your uncle wouldn't let you
No,
back?
he says, you're not going back there anymore.
No, your uncle, was he on your mother's or father's side?
Father's side.
And when did he come over?
He came over maybe 42 years before that.
Wow. And when he came over, he came on the boat. Did you come over on the boat?
I came
or
over
did
in
you
the
come on
Britannic.
You did on
Yes.
the Britannic?
Yeah.
Wow. What was it like?
I liked the Britannic. It was my first time on a boat, and I thought it was a ball because we were dancing every night and there was all kinds of entertainment.
Was there different classes on the boats like it showed on, like the Titanic and all that?
I wouldn't know. I'm sure there was. I'm sure it was. That the
Like
big
first
shots were
class
upstairs.
But it didn't seem like that when you were.
No, it didn't.
Everyone where you were was all the same.
Right.
And were they all from Ireland?
They were all from Ireland, yeah.
And so on the ship, what was the lodgings like?
They were fantastic. There was 2 beds in every room. And I thought that was great. Because I was figuring I was used to I was brought up with 5 or 6 of us in the one room, So here I have just 2 of us in one room. And I thought it was great, and the food was good, and the dancing was great every night.
How much did it cost back then to come?
That I don't know. But I know when I was making my first trip, and my uncle did not like me going. He says, you can't go, you still owe me about $20 from your... Because I had to pay him back. And he says, you still owe me about $20. And I thought I'd paid that all back. And he says, no, you're still $20 short. Because he knew that I was trying to save every penny.
Yeah.
Because I was only getting $22 a week.
Wow.
So how much the trip now was, I don't know.
How long did it take to come?
It took 7 days.
And where'd you leave from?
From Cork.
And came into New York?
Cove to New York, yeah.
Oh, and when you came, did you have to go to Ellis Island?
No.
What way did the immigration work at that time?
It was straight into New York.
You didn't have to get anything signed or stamped?
No.
Or a card, a visa?
Well, I'm sure I had a visa card leaving Ireland.
Oh, you probably got before that.
Right. Because I know I had to go to be interviewed by the police, and I had to go to Dublin for papers to be signed and things like that. So.
Oh, so you did that all over there?
Yes.
That's where you'd come.
Yeah, right.
Wow,
So
that's amazing. Now, when you were growing up, what was your house like? Was it was attached at that time? Or
no,
at
it wasn't.
estates?
No, we didn't have a attached house. Even though I'd like to have one, but no, it wasn't. It was a slated house.
Yeah,
It was a farmhouse.
did you have electricity then?
No, we didn't.
Do you remember when it came in?
Well, it came in after I leave in Ireland because I bought the first radio.
And you sent it home?
No, I brought it home.
Oh, you brought it home?
I did. I brought it home, and it seems my father says to me, he says, now, wouldn't you be better off if you bought me a young sheep or a young calf or something? I'd have something after. And after he got used to that, he was in every day at 12 o'clock to listen to the news, and at 5 o'clock to listen to the news, and on and on.
He loved it.
He loved it.
Wow.
So, anyway, I remember the year I came here, somebody was bringing a radio or something back. And I says, where are they going to plug it in? And I said, I'll tell you where they'll plug it in, because they didn't have electricity.
When you were growing up, do you remember if there was any favorite foods? Did you have, You just had your own farm. Did you like grow all your own?
We grew all our own vegetables and we had all our own meats. But my favourite was fresh salmon.
Fresh salmon.
Yes, because my father used to go out at 3 o'clock in the morning with my brother on the river, one on each side, and
Yeah.
they'd have a net. We'd have salmon for breakfast, we'd have salmon for after school, and salmon again at night. But we all loved it.
And do they fish off the coast of Galway?
No, this
Or
was
the Atlantic, or
no the river that went by us. This is where they got the
what was the name of that? Do you remember?
carb.
The Carb,
Hmm.
and they fished there.
Right.
No, none of your family were fishermen?
No.
No.
But my mother made the nets.
Did she make
She
the
did.
nets?
She made the nets.
And what did she make them of?
It was a hemp, some kind of a strong hemp.
What is that?
It's like crocheting stuff, something like that.
Oh, I could try it.
It was off-white. It was an off-white colour that she used to use. And all she had was kind of a needle that looked like this and a thing going across on it. And then she had a square. And that was to make the size of the squares on the net.
And did she make the same ones for each family, or did she do
No,
a different pattern for?
No, the same thing. The only time she'd make one is when one would give out.
Yeah.
Because when they brought it back from the river after fishing, they would hang it over the walls to dry out.
Oh, wow.
And of course, sometimes the salmon would cut through the
Rope.
netting. So
Nobody'd steal it on you.
no, oh no,
Well.
no.
So, how was your area very heavily populated, or was?
No, it wasn't that time.
Yeah.
But it is crowded now. It seems everybody that was dying was leaving a piece of land to the one son, piece of land on the other side of the house to another son. Now I don't know 3 people in the village. And we knew everybody in every village as we were growing up.
What would have been the population back then?
In the village, I would say there was about maybe 100 people in the village.
What was the name of your village?
Corbelly,
Corbelly.
yeah.
And that's
That was in,
small little village in Galway.
yes. This was the outskirts of Galway now.
Right.
We were about, maybe 12 miles into Galway from our place and about 10 into Tuam.
Oh.
And 10 to Athenry, so we're in there between
You're
the 3.
right in the middle.
Right.
Anyway. Now, when you were going to school, we just mentioned it a little while ago. I'd like to get some of that information down. What subjects did they do when you were at school?
Just English and math and history. I can't remember geography, I guess because I didn't like it.
Just Gaelic language?
And Gaelic, and I never liked Gaelic.
No?
Never. I used to think if they'd only spend enough time with our English, we'd all get places instead of having to learn both things, one in English and one in Irish.
So did you have a hard time picking up the language then, or you just didn't care, you didn't want to?
I didn't want to. I remember the first slap I ever got, because I had to write a subject of something, composition, and I asked my father to spell basin for me. And of course he spelled it the Gaelic way, Bashion, basin.
You know,
I got a slap for that. But
turned you off learning Irish.
it did. I never liked the Irish.
Oh, amazing. And was the Irish language very fluent back then?
And it was just, I would say, had just about started about 2 or 3 years before that in our school.
Because I know back then from my own family history, Irish was banned before that in a lot of the schools.
Because the parents didn't want it, because the parents weren't speaking it at home. My parents didn't speak Gaelic at home.
A lot with the English banned a lot of the Irish from the schools, and they had hedge schools at the time of my grandmother's.
Right.
When she went to school, and she didn't have a word of English at all.
She didn't.
Not a word. No, I mean of Gaelic.
Right, of Gaelic.
Not a word of Gaelic at all because it was banned at that time.
Mm,
But it was in the schools when you went.
it was.
So what was your favourite subject?
I cannot remember. I know I liked math.
Yeah. And did you go to school with nuns or?
No, regular school in the village. Well, we had 3 miles to walk to school every morning, 3 miles to walk home in the evening.
Did you have shoes? Did you just have
We-
to go barefoot or?
No, we had the shoes, but I remember one Sunday morning, it seems my brother didn't want to go to church without shoes. And my mother said, all the boys in the village go without shoes, so will you. So anyway, I said to my brother, I'll give you my shoes at the head of the road. And then we can meet there again when we're coming home, and I get the shoes back. As it was, he came one way and I came another way. I got flogged when I came in the house. No shoes in church.
So you're in trouble.
I was in trouble, right.
So now when you were going to school, did you cross the fields or did you go the road?
We went through the fields
Yeah.
to get there faster because it was still 3 hours. So we just
3
didn't-
miles.
3 miles, right,
Yeah.
3 miles. And you got to school and you could be soaking wet. But you had to
sit in the clothes
right.
all day.
Right, and the teachers stood with their backs to the fire. So there was no
And the kids were sitting in
Right.
wet clothes.
right. And if you did anything, now the boys were always sent out to the hazel to get their own switch to be belted with.
Did you ever get spanked at
No, I
school?
didn't. I just the once for the basin. Every time I take a basin, I think of that slap I got.
So, what year did you finish school?
Oh, jeepers, in 1940, 45, 46.
So, and did you do your leaving cert at that time?
I did. I went into Tuam then, to the nuns. So I spent 2 years in there, but I didn't graduate.
Oh,
I
why?
didn't.
Because you came here? Or?
No, because I was living with an aunt in Tuam. And my teacher from my public school asked me if I wouldn't go to Port Arlington to work for a friend of hers that was running a store. It was a confectionery store.
And you took the job?
And I was delighted. So I went down to Port Arlington and stayed there for a year and a half.
Now, those two last years in school, were they like, did you learn like a secretarial job or?
No, you could have,
Yeah.
but I wasn't interested.
And what kind of, you did the same subjects again?
I did the same subjects except more advanced.
So you could have went on to college
I
then.
could have, right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what was the nightlife like back then?
I wasn't allowed to go to any dances.
Never?
No, my brother was allowed. My mother used to teach all the young ones in the village as they were going to the dances. They'd all come into my mother for her to teach them how to dance, but she wouldn't teach me.
How did you learn? Because you're a great dancer.